Hi, you can call me MJM. This is one of my characters I created in 2005. I prefer that nobody copies or make this to your liking. Around 2005, as I said, I created something that was supposed to be maybe for story. I didn't like the story eventually later because it just basically became an apocalypse. Nobody lived. But I liked the robot, which was basically an extension of what a person would wear at a remote location, and it was a brainless form, and it would basically be a gardener and chip away rocks. And it was also a defender. Right up here are two antennae from a remote control. There's the head, which had a bunch of cameras inside of it. There's these two neck supports, and they can also fold the head into the chest, and then a canopy or a cover can come from the back to the front like a convertible. In between is a hose. Over here is the wiper for the head. You just use that piece of dangling cloth to take care of anything that's on top of the screen of the head. Right here is this giant piece of metal scrap that's cut off on the top, and it looks like it just bits on the shoulder. Everything else is smooth. It has two socket shoulders, and whenever the sockets moved up, the edges or the coverings of those shoulders ripped off, and you can see what's underneath it. Yeah, it's a little bitty, it looks like skinny arms, and they twist in the middle. And then they have little, what looks like leather covering at the joints. That elbow represents a truck tire. So you kind of get a glimpse of how tall it is by that reference point. And you have these little bitty thin shields that can also be used for scooping or for defense. The knuckles are actually flat. They can also be used for scraping. The tips of the fingers are not flat. It kind of seems like it has nails. The chest piece has two headlights inside of it, and also the torso has a air canister. Once it releases the air, it actually helps the robot move. And this is a red tube that goes from the front to the back, here and here. The pelvis can rock a leg all the way outward from this resting position, so it can give a almost a horizontal kick. This right here is the waistline. It's basically on a bunch of ball bearings. And this little blue piece right here stops the legs from going out too far. The legs, lower part, on the shins, there's these yellow lights that project lights. And the pinkish feet are for clamping the ground to get good support. This little tube is a sensor, and that little circular piece is whenever the ankles come together, so it knows that they're connected. And the brownish orange things on the left and right are the ground. This was done in colored pencils and Prismacolor inks. The next few slides I'm going to show are about what it looks like going through a Wacom tablet to give it some little artistic design or advancement in color. That's the background. It's implied that basically it's underground and there's some lighting from not from above, but from right about here. And it's while the robot's underground, the light hits the back behind the creature, then hits that level of dirt, then that level of dirt, and then that level of dirt. What it looks like without that. And this should be the finished piece of art. Take the original scanned image and put some shade on it. And I leave some parts out, headlights, some parts out, shin lights. And so the image is supposed to imply that it's dug underground underneath stone, and the light is actually coming from right about here, way above, but it hits the background, and therefore you can see some of the lights just bouncing around, and then it's just a cool image. Without that, with that. Here's some video of me working on this project.